look to the left and you see the red being desaturated, right? Or the overall image being desaturated. So let's go back in there and just fine tune. I think that was a little too harsh what I did. So I'm going to double click that there. Let's put this back to 0. Put it back to the way it started. Let's jump to reds. Then pull out saturation. That way we're not messing with those yellows back here, see? Or are we messing with the, some of the other colors, the greens and whatnot? Saturation is your key there. So if the greens were a little too much, the way I pumped up those greens, no problem. Just move this slider down a little bit and hit OK. Okay? Before, let's go back. Let's turn off our adjustment layer there. Okay, so turning it on, turning it off, turning it on, turning it off. So we have an improvement right here. I might even put back a little bit more red, but that depends on you as the photographer, you as the artist, and for your website. So the critical things to remember: do your adjustment layer, your levels adjustment layer, then your hue and saturation adjustment layer, and see how that works. Let's go to a different picture from the same website, different section. This is called the Unknown Pavement series. Now this one, the photographer told me, was decent. This was a good one. But I think it still could use a little more refinement. Okay? A little bit more. Again, the first thing we do, one of the first things we do when we're color correcting is we want to set those highlights and those shadows, okay? Because you get good highlights and shadows, you're going to have, when you set those, you're going to have good contrast. And good contrast makes a picture pop out, makes it easy to see. Bad contrast makes it look flat. It's hard to see. It's not pretty. It's not pleasant. Just like we did before, let's go to these channels, red, green, and blue. I want to be careful with the green. If I push it too much, as you can see, I blow out the tips of those roses there. We don't need to do that because they're an important part of the spectrum in here. And maybe the blue just a little bit more. Okay, bring that blue in a little bit more to help a little bit of yellow get inside. Hit OK. Before, after. See, a little more contrast. Before, after. Now, I know that the saturation probably bothers you. We're going to go into hue and saturation right up here, just like we did with the previous picture. And if you ever want to zoom in and zoom out of the picture while you're in this dialog box, you can just do Apple or Control minus or Apple or Control plus. So let's help this out. Let's just look what happens if we pull the saturation down a little bit overall. Okay, let's say 20. Zoom out, stretch this window so we can see the whole picture. Before, after, before, after. Yeah, it's a little too strong. So we'll go back. Double click that hue and saturation. Don't make another one, just double click what's already there. And let's just put that back the way it was, okay? There we go. I like to go to greens and see what will happen if I pull out some of the saturation in the green areas. I'd say 25 is a good number. Alright. I double click that hue and saturation adjustment layer, went to greens. Let's just pull out the greens right in this dialog box in the screen. This is looking just at the greens there, okay? See what happens if I pull it all the way out, right? They lose everything. We don't want that. Alright. Let's stick it around 30. Hit OK. Okay, before. Aha. Alright. Alright. So it's very subtle, but it takes care of that overall saturation. So what did I do? Did I make this picture better? Did I make it worse? Well, I think, zooming out here, okay, I think that we have an improvement, okay? That's how it used to look. Turn these on. This is how it looks now. So again, we help the contrast just a little bit, help that flower pop out just a little bit more. This one's called Elena or Elina. I'm not quite sure the pronunciation. It's a simple example. This is a decent shot, but there are issues that the photographer has with a lot of the color in these. And I think those issues could be resolved if, again, we fix the contrast right from the beginning and just even leave it just as that. So here we go. Back to the layers palette, our handy adjustment layer, levels. Hit those different channels in the drop down menu. Move your sliders in, go to the green channel, move that slider in, go to the blue, move that slider in, move this highlight slider in a little bit more, click OK. Alright. So we have before, after, before, after. Look at that difference. Now the yellow is a little weak, so I'd like to go into hue and saturation like we did before, a new hue and saturation, and then go to the yellow channel and push in a little bit. I'd say, let's say 18. That might be a little too much. Okay, before, after, before, after. Okay, there's a lot of ways to deal with that, but look at what an improvement we have from this to this. I mean, this is a big difference. Simple moves, deliberate, simple, deliberate moves with your levels and maybe some hue and saturation will make the roses on your website and for anybody else's website look fantastic.